time to take a look at the most divisive season of RWBY.
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. I see it now, it's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free, and there's possibility. And there's possibility.
Hello everyone, and today I'm taking a look at RWBY Volume 5. RWBY Volume 5 is pretty divisive. Either you love it or you hate it. Where do I stand on this season? Let's find out. The plot of this season is that after the events of Volume 4, Team Ranger arrives at Mistral and meets the headmaster of Haven Academy, Professor Leonardo Lionheart. And if you think he's a jerk for no reason, well, they immediately reveal after their meetup that he works for Salem. Why? Because he's a coward. And basically the team has to train up because Salem's forces are going to come to Haven Academy in 2 months and steal one of the 4 relics of Remnant for evil reasons. And yeah, they're basically doing a training montage, but don't worry, they don't do it that much. And it's also revealed that Ozpin gave the powers to the 4 maidens and has the ability to reincarnate into minds that share a similar mindset to him, because a while back he failed to stop Salem and was cursed with immortality until he stops her. And yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Though wouldn't it be funny if he reincarnated into someone like, say, RWBY or Crow? Wouldn't that be funny in my opinion? And also, while that's happening, Yang and Weiss meet up at Raven's camp by complete accident. Well, Yang, she wants to meet her mother, while Weiss crashes in by accident, and they talk to Raven, and Raven tells them that Ozpin gave Crow and Raven the ability to turn to birds. Get it? Because their names are Crow and Raven. And while that's happening, Blake is dealing with the White Fang because Adam Taurus became the new leader after killing the previous leader, and basically tells his men to do this to Blake's family.
Execute Order 66.
But they all meet up with each other at the end and fight Cinder, Mercury, Emerald, and Hazel, and the volume ends with Raven being revealed to be the Spring Maiden, Cinder gets frozen in Carbonite, Leo gets killed by Salem, and the main heroes get the Relic of Knowledge and go to Atlas to meet up with Ironwood.
Everybody got that?
Now, that's the plot of the volume, and before I get into my positives, let's talk about some negatives. First off, the pacing. It's not very good, because while yes, I do understand that all 3 plots do take place at different points in the world of Remnant, they just don't flow naturally with one another in my eyes. It just feels like they're doing a not very good job of juggling all these storylines together. But I will say at the end they all do convert nicely, but for the first half, the pacing just felt off to me. And also, another problem I have with the pacing is that they do say that this entire story, well, this season takes place over the events of 2 months, but it confuses me because right before they wrap up the stuff at the Belladonna Mansion, Leon calls Crow and the gang for them to meet up because Leon tells them a lie saying that, oh, hey, I found some people that can help us out, which is actually a trap so Cinder and the gang can kill the heroes. Right after that, they finish the stuff at the mansion with Blake's family, and Blake's father tells everyone there, hey, we gotta get ready because in 2 weeks from now, Adam Taurus and the White Fang will destroy Haven. But in the last scene, they just showed Crow and the gang going to Haven. Does that mean the stuff at the Belladonna Mansion takes place in the past? You see what I mean when I mean the pacing doesn't flow naturally? And yeah, also, while yes, I do understand that they didn't want to make the season feel too long, so they had to cut stuff out, I do wish we got to see more of Mistral, because there are only 2 scenes in this volume that, when it comes to Mistral, that are not at the Haven Academy or at the house that RWBY and the gang are staying at. There are only 2 scenes. One is when Crow is finding huntresses and huntsmen to help in their battle against Salem, but then he finds out all of them are dead because Leon spilled the beans to Salem about the huntsmen and huntresses, and Salem got them all killed. And while yes, that is a really good scene, I just wish we got to see more of, Mistral. And also the other scene is at the very start of the volume where it's a PowerPoint presentation of the people at Mistral. I just wish there was done more with Mistral as a city, you know what I mean? And also, there could have been stuff that could have been cut out, like the training. Now, at first, I'm fine with it, because they do state that while Ozpin's powers will go to Oscar soon, they want to speed up the process by, you know, making sure his body is more familiar to combat. Makes sense. However, they also state, hey RWBY, we need to train you on how to fight hand-to-hand combat. Why? She doesn't do that. That's Yang. Seriously, there's only one point where RWBY fights hand-to-hand, and that's when she, like, you know, headbutts Mercury at the end of the volume.
I said, put your hands in the air, now.
Are you robbing me?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey. There was no point for this training montage, this training scene. In fact, it only lasts for one scene and then it's completely forgotten about. And also, this is just another problem. The fight scenes this volume are kind of boring, aside from 2, which I'll get into later, but most of them just felt clunky, like at the Belladonna Mansion where you see Sun and Blake's father fighting the 2 guys who work for Adam. It just didn't feel right, and yeah. Also, during the fight of Haven, most of the battle is just characters standing around talking, and when Hazel's all like, hey, Ozpin, tell them that it's your fault for my sister's death, Crow doesn't decide to, you know, slash Hazel while he's distracted. Really, Crow? And also, this is something I just found funny, but at the end of the volume, when all of the White Fang are surrounded, they're like, put your hands down. This happens. Adam's all like, hey, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me, and this happens.
For all of us.
Hey, wait!
Wow, Adam. You are super intimidating. Just, wow.
Also, Blake one-shots Adam. Here's a tip on how to write a good antagonist. Don't have the main character, side character, or any character at all one-shot the antagonist. It does not make them look intimidating at all. If anything, it makes them look like a pushover.
And also, another issue I do have with this volume is some of the new characters. I didn't care about most of them. In fact, there was only one of them I actually really liked, and that was Raven. Now, yes, we were introduced to her all the way back in Volume 2, but this is where we actually get some character from her. And yes, she did appear in Volume 4. I am aware of that. But again, this is where we actually get to see more character from her. But the other ones, I didn't care for. I didn't care about Burnell. I didn't care about Leo. I didn't care about, Alia, is that her name? Alia from Mega Man X5? I'm sorry, I couldn't get that out of my head. But still, I do like Raven. I do really like that scene where she interacts with Yang and Weiss. I do like that, and I like her sword. And I also like how she, you know, has that portal thing. Pretty cool, though I will admit there was a missed opportunity for a joke for them to go on their bike through it and them crashing on Crow. That would have been hilarious. Missed opportunity there, but still. But let's talk about my positives. First off, just to make sure I get this out of the way first. Weiss dabs this season, and it is glorious. I could not stop laughing when that happened. I'm not even joking. But yeah, that was pretty funny in my opinion. Another thing I like about this season is that, again, the animation is still really good, and while the fight scenes are not very good, except for 2 of them, which I'll get in a minute, they are very expressive with the animation, and I do really love the music, especially the opening theme song. It's not my favorite opening song of RWBY. That honor still goes to Volume 2's opening, but it was still a pretty catchy song. And also, I do really love that moment where Crow walks around town trying to find huntresses and hunters, but finds out all of them are dead. And I do like how he tells the bartender, yeah, the guy who owed you money, he's gone. And the guy's like, I'm so sorry, man, I shouldn't have been so rough on you. I do like that moment. And also, probably my 2 favorite moments of character interactions is that there is a scene between Oscar and RWBY where Oscar asks her, hey, why are you fighting? You can get yourself killed. Why fight for all this? And RWBY tells him, I had 2 friends who died, Penny and Pyrrha, and I know if they were still here, they would continue fighting. I do like that. It actually shows RWBY growing as a character because, let's be honest, while I do really like RWBY as a character, she's fun, I love her comedic side. However, in terms of the main four, she's the leader of Team RWBY, but she's the least interesting compared to the other three because Weiss, Blake, and Yang all have these different stuff going on, while RWBY doesn't. In fact, if it weren't for the stuff with Crow and Tyrion and Lai at the end of Volume 4, I would have considered Team Ranger's storyline to be the weakest because compared to the other three, it wasn't as interesting. That's mainly due to the fact that RWBY has nothing throughout most of these volumes. And that is kind of sad since she's the main character of the show, which is kind of sad. But I do love that moment where she tells Oscar, hey, even if I were the one who died and Penny and Pyrrha lived, I'm sure they would be fighting in my place. I like that. I still like that moment. And now my favorite moment in this volume in terms of character interactions has got to go to Jon when he sees Cinder. You can see on Jon's face that he is about to break down crying because he knows that Cinder was the one who killed Pyrrha, and they basically reenact this scene from Avengers Endgame.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
In fact, while they're fighting, I do like how when Cinder is about to go for the kill, Jon says, I don't care if you kill me, those guys are more important anyway. And she's all like, you know what, why didn't I kill one of them just for you? And she kills Weiss, but don't worry, Jon heals her. But this is another issue I do have that I forgot to mention. When, Cinder is about to, throw the thing, she is walking slowly, and Jon doesn't decide to grab his sword, which is right next to him, and run up and stab Cinder from behind. Why doesn't he do that? Was he all like, okay, I tried. Oh my god, Weiss, you got stabbed! Seriously? But I do like how they actually do show Jon's semblance here. I do like that. And yeah, now let's talk about the two best fight scenes in this volume. Blake versus Alia, because I do love those fights where the main character is fighting a former friend, and while the former friend is trying to kill the hero, they're like, hey, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you at all. All because you're my friend. I don't want to hurt you. And I do like how they do a good job with Alia's chameleon powers. I really like that. And also, they do say that she had a crush on Blake. It feels like every new season of this show, they're giving Blake a potential new love interest. Seriously, everyone else but Blake, in terms of Team RWBY, doesn't have a love interest but her. I love that. And also, my favorite fight this volume has got to go to Raven versus Cinder. This fight is probably my favorite fight in the entire show. It is fast-paced, well-choreographed, and the stuff they do with their maiden powers was awesome. They go Dragon Ball on her butts at the end of the fight, and it is awesome. But I will say this, even though Raven is the Spring Maiden, throughout most of the fight, they do show her using, winter-themed powers, like her freezing Cinder at the end and having an ice sword. I thought she was the Spring Maiden, not the Winter Maiden. But still, that fight scene was amazing. And also, this is just me, but there is a part at the end where when she goes to freeze Cinder, she does what Scar does in Full Metal Alchemist. 2 FMA jokes in 2 videos back to back. Oh man, I need to stop with my FMA jokes. But still, I love that moment. And yeah, that's volume 5. Is it perfect? No, it has a lot of problems, but with the problems they do have, I do feel like the good stuff, it does sort of outweigh the negatives. It's sort of like for every 2 good things, there's a problem. But that's okay. This is easily in my bottom 3 of seasons of RWBY. But hey, I still had fun with the volume. The characters are still lovable. The fight scenes, while a bit clunky, other than the 2 ones I just mentioned, at least the 2 I just mentioned made up for the bad fights in this volume because, man, those fights that I mentioned earlier weren't very good. But at the very least, I still had a good time watching it and cared about the characters. So, yeah, I can safely say this season is about a 7 or an 8 maybe. I would give this probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's just a 7 out of 10. But yeah, I still had fun with it. So, yeah, join me in the next video as we take a look at RWBY Volume 6. See you all later and have a good day. Bye.